to a 302 Birds podcast experience. Proudly powered by TickPick, CutBet, and El Diablo Burritos of Delaware.
So 2 super quick ideas for you guys. Number 1, I think Matt's going to like this. I want to get Matt on the intro, which means we have to go to a game with Matt to get what we call B-roll footage. So when we do that, I'll let you guys know. And the second thing is Jack's going to like this. You know who I was thinking would be the perfect voice for the you're now listening to?
Who?
Uncle Tony, the freaking guy who works at Geno's. I'll send you a video of it. He did an Xbox voice, and it was like, your childhood is now ended. And then he did, attention, your childhood is now restored. And it sounded so like the Xbox. I'll send it to you guys, and you'll crack up. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 302 Birds. In the heat of July, the Phillies are hotter than hell. I am blessed to be joined with all of our great hosts tonight and a very special guest we'll get to in a second. A ton to talk about, but I will kick it to Jack and bring in our call-in Uncle Jason Dake in a second, but I will kick it to Jack to do what he does.
Hey, Tommy, I'm liking the stash. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
It looks good.
It'll be shaved by tomorrow.
Oh, man. No. Without further ado, let's bring our call in. Sponsored by El Diablo Burritos, baby.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is. Their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302 Birds sent you. God bless, go Birds.
Without further ado, we welcome Jason, also a.k.a. Ake. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Milwaukee scored again.
Hey.
Yes, they did.
Look who's watching
Matt,
the game.
This is why I don't watch. Matt, what? You set me up for failure?
Yeah, you should turn it off, Dake. You're making them
Yeah, turn
lose.
this off. You're right. What's going on?
You're making
Are
them
you a bad luck charm?
Yeah, get
No,
Dake out of here.
Matt's a bad luck charm. He's the one who did it. I didn't do anything. I just followed his lead.
I watch all the games, Dake. I'm not the bad luck charm.
You drink boxed wine. Anybody who drinks that's bad luck.
What do you have for us tonight?
I'm
What
here
question
talk.
you got?
These 2 clowns are funny as heck. I love them. And then he said, come in. I said, we'll talk about anything. You just want to talk about the Eagles? But Matt.
How you feeling about the Eagles next season, Jason? Like, how you thinking about the Eagles? How do they get over this hump of a Super Bowl loss, get over the pain, get over the agony, and take it to the next step?
Well, I was just reading an article about the Eagles are going into training camp with the best roster ever. Why even talk about that? Are they jinxing us already? The best roster? What? Like, I don't know. I just hope Jalen Hurts doesn't collapse or that's what I'm scared of. I'm scared of my own worst enemy of Jalen Hurts not being who he says he is and then something happening. But we got an offensive line, so we have protection. We have Kelsey for another season. So comfortable about that. But I don't know. What do y'all think?
I
personally. Oh, go ahead.
Eagles are looking good. Yeah, they're probably just gypped us by saying the best roster is going into the season, which I'm a little scared about. But I think this team is better than the Super Bowl team last year. I think our offensive line is still the same. Our receiving core is the same. Our defense got some missing pieces that we needed. And I'm excited to see what happens for this season. These rookies up and coming, I think are going to be a big role for this defense. And I'm excited to see what Sean Desai, how he has a scheme rather than Jonathan Gannon. I'm sorry. JG. We don't want to say his name. But I'm excited since we have an actual defense coordinator who has a scheme, who knows how to work these guys. So I think from here on up, it's looking up. I hope. I mean, I got the bet they'll make 11-5. I placed that bet.
11 wow.
We'll see. That's what I placed the bet in. What was it 2 weeks ago? But that's what
never ever. Everybody asking that every season. I think it's never done it. Never will do it. Nope. Did it one time. It was wrong. It's called the Ray Rhodes error, and I was completely wrong. Never again.
Wouldn't it be 12-5 or 11-5? Didn't they add an extra game?
Oh yeah, 12-5.
No,
Well, 12 and
No,
5.
it was the bet was to be over 11.
Oh, to be over and left. Okay.
That's okay. Yeah. So Matt, what do you think about the Eagles this year?
I think they're going to be. I'm very confident in them actually. I think that, I don't think that Nick Sirianni went out and got offensive and defensive coordinators that differ too much from what he used to have on the team. I think Desai is going to be a little bit more aggressive, which I think we need. But when you think about it, do we actually need to be more aggressive? I mean, we had 78 sacks last year or something like that. It was crazy. So, I mean, we always give shit to Jonathan Gannon and everything, but I mean, that defense last year was really good. I'm sorry, I said the name.
Yeah, don't say his name.
That should not be spoken of.
Yes.
It's like Slay's first name. How you're not allowed to say Slay's first name in Philadelphia.
JG, I'm sorry, JG. I do think that he was, yes, he did not make any defensive adjustments at all. But when his defense was rolling, So, I mean, yeah, he wasn't the best for us, but I think Desai is going to be that aggressive defensive coordinator that we need. So maybe instead of 78 sacks, we can get 85. Who knows? Maybe we'll break the record this year. I think our defensive line had got 10 times better than it was last year. Younger, faster, more powerful. I think it's going to be amazing.
This defensive line, I'm glad you brought that up. This defensive line is freaking juiced. When you think about it, listen to this. Listen to these names. And if this doesn't make the hairs on your back stand up, I don't know what will, children. But you got Brandon Graham, Smiley. He's out there. Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, the best one out of all of them potentially. And, Derek Barnett, and there's still even a couple guys I'm sure I'm missing. Milton Williams, even the backup third tackle, when he's out there, he makes a couple great plays. So this, honestly, no bias as a Philly fan, could be the greatest defensive line of all time. I'm glad you brought that up, Matt. Why are you shaking your head, Dake? Who you got as the greatest offensive line of all time, Uncle Dake?
You muted.
He's muted.
You got to unmute yourself.
God, you're old, Dake.
Davis was a wash last season. What did he do last season? Nothing.
He stopped the run.
How many times?
He's a couple
wider
times.
than the Mississippi River, and he didn't do nothing.
Would you say that to his face, though? Would you say that to his face, though? No, you wouldn't. I bet you wouldn't. If you were right in front of him, you wouldn't be like, you were ass. Like, you would need him more than $1,000. You should do that for more than $1,000.
I'd say I'll do it. I come from Amish country. I ain't scared of no big dude. No. Hey, and they know it. A Philly fan, an Eagles fan will be honest, but they know we'll be loyal, and that's why they respect us because we'll always tell them the truth. He'll respect it. Plus, he has respect. Oh, I'm like 20-something years older than him. Come on now.
He's going to respect age.
Dake.
I don't know. I don't think he was that bad last year. What do
What
you got, Matt?
What was the stats?
No, did you see the run game when Davis was on the field? It was unmatched. When he was injured, our run game sucked. Or our run defense.
Why did they not play him more? Why didn't they play him more?
Because
that's Jake's fault.
Yeah, he was young. He was young. He was out of shape. This year, he's taken 20 pounds off. He's stronger. He's faster. This run defense is going to be outstanding with him, and he's going to be a starter this year. He's not going to be rotating. He's going to be the starter. Mark my words. Dake.
All right,
Y'all
at
scared.
9:20
You're making my
on
kneecaps
July
sweat right
19th,
now.
Matt Fredkin said that he will be a starter. Okay. All right.
I'm with it. I think he'll be a starter, too. I mean, I think it's going to be him and Jalen Carter, and if they're smart, Fletcher Cox should come in as a rotation man with his age, if they're smart. I would hope. I don't know. What do you think, Jack? What would you like? Tell me.
Jalen Carter's a dog, but I don't see him starting right away. I think it's going to be the Nakobe Dean effect where we have him on special teams or maybe get him in when we have injuries that happen. But like he said, he's a dog. He's young, which, hasn't really shot anyone away from starting. But I just think maybe week 8 he'll start. I don't think he'll start week 1.
Okay.
So, Ash.
I gotta say I'm with Jack on this one. Everybody knows my love for Jalen Carter, but I don't see him starting. But I do see Jordan Davis stepping it up. He was not bad for us last season, so I think he will be very strong moving forward. So.
I think time is his buddy too. He's very young, and I think he is a literal fridge. Like, Dave, do you remember that player William Perry that played for the Bears, the fridge? I think he actually played for the Eagles a little bit too, believe it or not. He reminds me a lot of him in his body frame. Just like he's a freaking Empire State Building when you see him. You're like, holy shit. But he is the nicest, most down-to-earth guy too. So I think the sky's the limit for him. What are you thinking, Dake? You're like mute.
Y'all ever see like a movie that was all hyped up and you were all excited and you got to see the movie and it wasn't quite what you thought it was going to be? Maybe I would.
Yes.
Because like he's so wide, I thought like he would do so much more, and he did. Maybe it was the coordinator's fault. You're right. I don't know. But my expectations, I guess, were too high. He's not a bad player. He's amazing. He's great. He's like you said, he's a humble, nice person. But I think I expected more than what we got.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. Dake, as we
today, the new
the
Eagles signed a former face, the new backup offensive lineman.
How you feeling about the signing? Former Titans lineman, right?
Dennis Kelly.
Wasn't he with Indy?
He played with the Eagles for a little bit. Now he's back in the practice squad.
He did. I didn't even know he played for us.
I didn't either. It just came up on the computer screen.
I mean, hey, I guess the depth's a good thing. What are you thinking about that? We got to get you out of here onto our next segment, but on your way out, what are you thinking about it?
I just want someone to protect Hurts. He should not be running that ball nearly as much as he did last year. He cannot take these hits. Like, he needs to be protected. He needs to learn to stay in the pocket unless he absolutely has to run. So as long as we have an offensive line and then we have a backup offensive line, he should be good to go.
Yeah, I think so. I'm with that. And Dave, we want to thank you for coming on the show as our
guys.
guest tonight for our call. And tell everybody where they can follow you on TikTok at, too.
Yeah. Follow me, the Dake 56, that THE Delta Alpha Kilo Echo 56 TikTok.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate you. Have a good night. Go Birds.
Go Birds. And I'll see you in December.
I'll see you then at the tailgate. He's coming to come hang out with us. Make sure you guys come tailgate with us this year. But we will bridge it into our Phillies topic now. Here we go.
Time for Phillies talk with Bob Ohtani. Junior Stitch.
Well, you finally got it right, Dutch, on the first try.
You like it?
I do.
Hey, to kick off right off the bat for you, how you feeling about this kid, Tom?
I like Rojas. I think he gets a lot. I think we're going in very quickly on him. I think he's a solid player. He was very solid down the minors. He was batting over 300 down there. He had quite a few home runs for someone in the minors as well. He went 3 for 3 in game 2 of the doubleheader on Saturday, but he was 0 for 3. He was 0 for 3 in game 1, and then he was 0 for 5, I think, in that 12-inning game on Sunday. So, like, hitting could improve, but his fielding's phenomenal, and he's got a hell of an arm. Like, we haven't really seen anyone with an arm in the outfield in quite a while, so it's kind of encouraging to see someone other than Shane Victorino actually have an arm in center field at Citizens Bank Park.
I got nothing.
Matt, your thoughts? Oh, cool. No worries.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm with you. It's nice to see, like, kind of that. I mean, the catch was freaking nuts. If you want to talk about an insane catch and a way to make your name in Philadelphia, the catch to throw, I actually wasn't watching the game live, but I saw the replay, and I was like, holy shit, what an effort. And it's nice to see him make that. I saw some old men on Twitter being like, he'll be in the minor leagues in 2 weeks. And it's like, shut the fuck up, like, old man Stan. Like, nobody gives a shit what you think. Just have some hope. I mean, yeah, are the Phillies going to make a trade? I mean, that's an interesting discussion too. I mean, how long could Rojas stay back here? I mean, what are you thinking, Tom? Like, Matt sent an interesting tweet that I'll let him get to in a second, or an interesting article. But what are you thinking, Tom?
I think he's going to be up for a lot longer in 2 weeks, especially one. You have to think about Pache. Pache has a weird injury, so he had a screw that had to be surgically inserted into his elbow back in 2016, and that came loose. Like that's what was causing his discomfort. So he had to have it surgically now removed from his elbow. So he's going to be out for like at least a month or two. He said there's a chance he comes back this season, but I don't think that's very likely, just knowing this injury and seeing it before. I don't think it's very likely he comes back this season. So I think Rojas might be up here for the long term. That being said, I also think he's better than Dalton Guthrie. Dalton Guthrie had his chance, and Dalton Guthrie couldn't hit. At least Rojas is a solid fielder compared to Guthrie. Like, he's got a better arm, and he's got better speed. Like, the dude's got crazy speed. He had 60 stolen bases last year in the minor league. So, I think he's going to be up for a while. I think he's got a lot of good talent. He could do a lot of good things. And another reason why I think he might be up now for a while, with Harper playing first base now, starting this series. I was on the beach today, so I didn't see if Bryce played first base or not today, but he's supposed to play this series at first base, and that would move Schwarber to the DH, meaning someone else has to go play the outfield. So I think they're going to move Marsh to left and put Rojas, if he can hit even just a little, which Derek Hall's been going 0 for the century the last two series. So just getting one hit's better than Derek Hall. Well, I think he's going to play center field because of his speed and how great of an arm and how great of a fielder he is. So he's going to be up for a while, I think.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I loved watching Rojas on Saturday in that doubleheader. You're talking about that amazing center field play he had. He had a couple of RBIs. He's fast. I think he's everything that we need in our starting outfield. But like you were saying earlier, Dalton, I sent a weird article. Dombrowski was on 94.1 WIP this morning, and he was saying that he has now, with Harper being able to play first base, the availability to be able to go out in the free agency or the trade market and pick up a left fielder. And a lot of rumors are going around about Juan Soto. And I'm just thinking about what we need to give up as a team to get someone like that on the team, and I don't think he's worth it one bit. He's batting 260-something this year. We would only have him for a year and a half. We would have to trade our entire farm system. And I think we should give a young guy like Rojas a shot. I really don't see the hurt in it. I mean, look what we did with Stott. We gave Stott a shot, and look what he's doing now. He's one of our best players. Brandon Marsh, now he's an everyday center fielder, and he's killing it. So I do think that we need to give Rojas a shot. I don't think that we should just give up on him because he's young. I really don't think it's worth it to go out and trade for a left fielder. I think we should trade for pitching depth. We need a fifth starter. I don't think we can keep it up with Christopher Sanchez. I think we need a solidified fifth starter that has, a good ERA and is consistent. I think that is generally what the Phillies need to do. I don't think we need to focus on hitting. I don't think we need to focus on defense in left field because, like you said, Harper's going to be playing first. Schwarber's going to DH. We don't care about him in left field, although he did have a hell of a catch yesterday. I have to say that.
And honestly, just to touch on the Soto stuff, he's not that great of a fielder. Like that, it wouldn't be that much of an improvement over Schwarber. Like, just seeing him in this last series against us, how many misplayed balls and miscues did he have just against us? He's really not that great of an out. Like, everybody's like, oh, go get him because he'll be a fielding improvement over Schwarber. Not really. He kind of does the same stuff. He's got a little bit better of an arm, but that's about it. Like, he runs terrible routes, so sure, he's faster, but At least Schwarber knows how to run a route to a ball.
Yeah. And here's the thing with this Phillies team. The reason that we're good is because all the players love each other. I think you bring a player in like Soto who's so up on his high horse, it would ruin so much that we have going for us. Like, don't bring in someone that thinks that they're better than the world. Soto, when he's playing baseball, you can tell he does not give a flying shit about what's happening on the field. He looks like Nick Castellanos last year. You know how, like, he just kind of like it looked like he was jogging all the balls, really wasn't playing with effort until the playoffs. I see that with Soto every single day, and I just don't think that he would be a good energy in the clubhouse.
Completely agree.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair point. And it's the worst time to do that when the Phillies are in their championship window. Bryce Harper is in his championship window. In the peak of his career. I mean, there's not a worse time to do it. Ash, any thoughts?
No, I totally agree with you guys. It was great to see Rojas having that rockin' of a first MLB start, to say the least. But yeah, I'm really hopeful that we can kind of keep investing time and energy into him, that he can kind of become maybe not as much. I mean, we don't need him to become like a star player or anything, but to have him as like a solid person that we can just have when we need him.
Now, here's another question for you, Ash. How you feeling about Ohtani? Do you think there's rumors going around? No? Why not?
Nope, it is not going to happen. We have to give up way too much for him. Harper and Turner have way too much time left in their contracts. Because that was like the other thing, was like those two are kind of the top two, at least today when I was looking.
And they both have no trade clauses.
Yes, I learned a lot today about all of the trading stuff. It's not going to happen. And even if we didn't have to give these two guys up, we would have to give up pretty much everything else, the entire farming system. It is not going to happen. Yeah, it's no.
And he said that
I honestly felt stupid making this graphic today, because I was like, it's not going to happen.
And he also said
Howard Eskins is a dope himself, just to use his own insult.
Also, Ohtani said he likes playing on the West Coast a lot in one of the recent interviews. So he's either going to be on the Dodgers or I'm saying the Padres, maybe. Just to, maybe just for a 2-month trade, and then he gets signed a big deal after the season. That's what I've been hearing from a lot of different personalities that are sports talk, whatever. So I don't think it's likely going to happen that he comes to Philly. I don't think we need him. Be a good asset to the team, but we're getting way too much. And I just think we need a decent average pitcher, like Thomas said, for our fifth starter, and Matt has said. So I don't think this is worth our while to get this guy on our team.
Philly sports radio pisses me off so much. Like, every single one of the people, like, they're always like, you got to get out of Trey Turner's contract. You got to get out of Harper's contract. Like, what are they watching? Like, yes, I understand Trey Turner is having a bad year so far, bad year. I mean, he's still playing pretty well defensively. I mean, it's, he's doing okay. Next year, he's going to be a lot better. But getting out of his contract, like, what were all these people saying 3 months ago, being like, oh, my God, he had 7 home runs in the World Baseball Classic. We already got our money's worth with Trey Turner, and it was spring training. I just think Philly sports radio, they're so quick to just jump off the bandwagon. It's crazy. It always pisses me off. Like, trade both of them for someone that we're going to have for 2 months. It just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and plus, like, okay, look at it this way: the Angels have two top 5 players in the league, in Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. They haven't made the playoffs in 10 years. So saying like, oh, we should trade away all our superstars to get this one superstar, it's just insane, because baseball's a team sport. Ohtani can't bat all 9 spots in the batting order, and he's not going to go out there every single day to pitch. It's just stupidity to think that. And you, like, I think he's the greatest player in baseball right now, hands down, no debate about it. However, you need more than one player to win a World Series, to get to the playoffs, and all that. So giving up Harper and Turner especially Harper, who's proven to be a clutch player. Here, Turner, some years he's been clutch, some years he wasn't. The year he won the World Series with the Nationals, he was a very clutch player. So, and we don't know how Ohtani's going to be in the playoffs. You want to know why I don't know if he's a clutch playoff player? He's never played in the playoffs. So he could be not to hit on a sore spot, but he could be Joel Embiid in the playoffs. Oh, it's like
you
I'm
went
sorry.
there.
He could choke in the playoffs.
Wow, Tom, tell us how you really feel, man.
I'm just saying. So
I mean, that is something we should talk about though before we move on from Ohtani and all this to get into the Eagles. But how did you guys feel about Embiid's comment? Because Tom just made me think about it, that he doesn't care where it is, but he wants to win a championship. I mean, how do you feel about that, Tom? The process, you've trusted it.
I think if he leaves because he requested a trade or because he demands to be released, I think the city of Philadelphia won't ever forgive him. I think he's going to go from the prodigal son, the unsung hero, even though he hasn't even sniffed the championship, to the ultimate villain, because he's going to be, I think the best way to describe him would be with the Star Wars analogy of like, it's like Anakin was like supposed to be the chosen one and then he became Darth Vader. That's what Joel Embiid would be if he left and won a championship somewhere else.
I think you hit the nail on the head. What are you thinking, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, he was, like Tom said, the prodigal son. And then if he were to do that, he's going to be on Ben Simmons level. And we don't want that. We don't want to put him in that window, but I mean, it could happen. I mean, hey, I think he deserves the championship. I think he's done a lot for this team, and just we've fallen short every single time. So if he really wants to go somewhere, go. We'll miss you, but it opens up a lot of spots for us to get decent players with this trade, because we're going to be asking for a lot if we were to get rid of Joel Embiid. So it's like kind of a double-edged sword. Like, it's a good thing, but at the same time, it's a bad thing. So it's really like, he deserves every right bit to win a championship, without a doubt. And it sucks that if he goes somewhere next year or wherever and wins a championship, he deserves it. But he's going to be hated in Philadelphia for sure.
I'm glad you brought it up too. What were you saying, Matt? Sorry.
I was going to say, I don't think he'll be hated. I mean, if he goes somewhere else and wins a championship, that just shows how shitty of a job we did as an organization surrounding him with people that he needs to win a championship.
That's true.
I mean, I think every player deserves the right to be able to go and win a championship somewhere else if they feel that they're not getting the pieces that they need to win at the time that they want to, I certainly wouldn't hate him as a player for wanting to leave. I mean, look at who we've surrounded him with. I think the biggest thing that we've done to surround Joel Embiid was when we went out and got Jimmy Butler. That was the year that we should have won a championship, and unfortunately we did not. And then we went out and got Harden, and that clearly has not worked. Harden on his Twitter today took off Philly NBA athlete or whatever. He's clearly done with this organization. And we're losing time. I think if Embiid does not win a championship this year, he's gone. I really do believe that. And I don't think we have the right as fans to be mad about that.
Yeah.
You are so right, baby. I mean, and he's trusted it. He's trusted the process. It's not just us trusting the process. It's him trusting the process. I know his nickname is Joel, the process Embiid, but I think a lot of people, a lot of times mistake the process for Embiid. It's the front office. It's the players. It's everything as a whole coming together is what the process was. I think that honestly, as fans, maybe we just misnicknamed Embiid the process. And I love what he's done for this city. He's taken us under his shoulders. Here's how I feel about it. I have mixed feelings. I agree with Matt. He just made a very good case. If you don't feel like you have the tools, get out. And Joel Embiid, we've been saying it for 2 seasons now on the podcast, the 2 seasons that we've existed, that this front office has let him down. So I wouldn't blame him for leaving. What I will say is I don't like the switch up, if you guys see what I mean. Like, I feel like just a couple months ago in May, he was more like about it. And then the playoffs happened and he was still a little bit about it, still pretty loyal. And now out of nowhere, somebody asked him a question and it seems that his mind has changed. Did a FaceTime call happen with Jimmy Butler? Did something happen that I don't know about? I don't know. The world may never know, but he's definitely not the same mentally. Because before, he's been asked questions like this before. We just don't hear about it in the media because he answers them appropriately. So there's a change in his mindset in, the way that he's answering these questions, which is not good for fans. And it is not good for the Sixers front office. So they should notice. But yeah, that's pretty much everything we got for the Sixers. Now I actually want to transition it into our next topic. And I'm glad we're kind of talking about players maybe ruining their disgrace or the players ruining their legacy in Philly, not being able to come back. CJ Gardner-Johnson with some absolutely crazy topics. And I want to bring in our guest too a little bit earlier. I don't know if you saw this, Mike, or not, but CJ Gardner-Johnson absolutely making a crazy comment just because it's a good time to comment on it. If you don't know about it, you don't have to answer too. But I do want to introduce our fan, our friend, a big TikToker, Mike Nelling at MNell. 18 or 16 on TikTok? 18?
18, yeah.
Is it for Jeremy Macklin, can I ask?
No. I have his jersey. I have a white one hanging up in my closet right now. It's like 4 sizes too big. It just stays in the closet. It's not for him though. It's my birthday.
Hey, that's a good day to be born, man. 18's a great number. I love it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
How you doing though tonight? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, no worries. Tom is kind of our Delco guy on the show, but I think, Tom, I finally met somebody that's more Delco than you that I can say confidently.
I have seen his TikToks. Oh, I know. I think I have to agree, Dutch.
He should be elected for the mayor of Delco, I think.
Nah, it's still Casey boy.
Yeah, that he takes the cake on that.
He takes the cake. But other than that.
Hey, well, welcome to the show, man. But I don't know, did you see what CJ Gardner-Johnson said, saying that the people of Philadelphia on basically a Twitch stream, he said he hated the people of Philadelphia and they were obnoxious, and that was the worst part about living here. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I didn't see this. I'm not on Twitch, and I didn't see any like headlines popping up about it. But like that's just disrespectful. I mean, it's just. I mean, I get it. Like, people have their certain things happen and people just go about their business, after their time here. And whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, one little thing can tweak how they view the city and the fans and everything. I mean, we've all been to games. We've all been to tailgates. We know how it can be. And some people just can't hang with it. Some people can. I mean, there's players who have left from here who love it here. And they have nothing but, just amazing things to say about the city and the fans, and then you have something like this, which I'll have to look more into it. But it's crazy to me that like you could say the passion that's here and the fans, like it blows my mind that anybody could have like a negative time here if they're actually invested into the city and the team and the fans as a whole.
Yeah, that's a great point. And don't feel bad about it because it literally just happened like 2 hours ago. Like, this is like raw breaking news. Like, it's just happened on Barstool Philly.
Okay, so this is pretty recent. Yeah, I was watching the Phils. Unfortunately they took the L, but I was kind of locked in on that.
I mean, hey, we saw someone say they hate this fucking place in Alec Boehm, and now he loves it. So I just think he's just a little jealous that we didn't give him the contract he wanted. I mean, and it's crazy because I really thought I saw a comment on Twitter that he loves playing in Philadelphia when he was in Philadelphia last season. I could be wrong, but like, you're just mad because you're not here. Like, we get the why you're mad, but like, don't say you fucking hate the Philly fans because you were saying one time that you love the Philly fan base, brings you energy that on the field, like, you've never felt anywhere else. Now you're going to say that. Come on now, buddy. Come on.
It's fake. It's so fake. It's like when you're here, you're all about it, and then when you're not, you're not. And you were even about it when your car got stolen, and you're not about it now? Come on, man. I don't like that.
No, I completely agree with that. I mean, he when he was here, his hair was dyed green. Like, he was all in on the Birds. He loved the fans. He was always going up to the crowds and hyping them up and doing everything. He's just mad that he didn't get the extension or a new contract. I mean, I really do think that he is probably really pissed off that he had to sign with the Detroit Lions, and he probably really wanted to be here, but we didn't give him the money. So I think he's just pissed off at the organization, not Philadelphia itself. And I think he knows that if he has to ever play in Philadelphia, it's going to be all hell breaking loose. It is going to be a disaster for him.
He just fucked up his legacy permanently here. I'm glad you brought that up. And the one thing I want to bring up too is look at him in this. That's him in the bottom right. I mean, obviously I put us, the fans up there, the people, the backbone of this organization. Anyway, the point is, if you look at him, he kind of looks like cooked. Like, I just wonder if maybe he was under the influence, and hey, I get it, man. We're all there. But going live under the influence, some people can do it, some people can't. But I would just wonder if maybe my guy had a backwood or something, then he goes live and somebody asks him a question, he's not thinking it through, you know what I mean? And he just said something, and now if it's going to have repercussions for a while. What do you got, Jack? Is that it?
We can't
You're
hear
muted.
you, Jackson.
Unmute.
That boy paid $5 just so he can get his stats. All right, fuck it.
Hold it up to the camera so we can hear it.
It's fucking obnoxious. I can't stand it for this.
That's what he said right there. You guys heard it. Fucking obnoxious. That's what he said about the people of Philly. That's about it. That's all he said. Yeah. But fucking obnoxious is how he's going to remember the only time that he went to a Super Bowl in his career.
Question for you guys. Do you kind of take a little bit of, like, pride in that we're obnoxious? Like, we got players leaving, like, you guys are obnoxious. Hell, fuck yeah, we are. I mean, like, Philly fans, man. No one likes us. We don't care, man.
What are you thinking about that, Mike? Like, I saw you smile. I'm taking pride in that. My guy, we had the same reaction.
100%. He's just salty that he's not here anymore. That's all it really boils down to. Like, if you look at this team right now and what the potential they have to do, who wouldn't want to be here? It's just it blows my mind. He's just mad. It is what it is. I mean, just go about your. At the end of the day, it's a business too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I understand that. But, like, now he's bringing, like his feelings got hurt. Like, sorry, buddy. Like, like, you're just looking for someone to be the scapegoat here when you should just go get your money, get the bag, and just go about handle your business like a businessman. And he's not doing it.
Yeah, he kind of just shouldn't say anything about it as a professional, and you're right. He's kind of going about it as a kid.
Yeah, it's like, come on now. You're, 28, 29 years old, maybe even 30, and you're going to be a kid about it? Come on now. At the end of the day, like Mike said, it's a business. You got to make business decisions, and obviously you weren't on it, so sorry, but bye.
Go. Now moving on to our next topic. This is actually something where I wanted to bring Mike on the show for his expertise. Obviously, everybody knows Hurst potato chips, the iconic potato chips of Pennsylvania. I think of America. Might be a little bit biased. Screw Lay's. The point is, Hurst comes out with these summer flavors now. I think that they've done it for 2 summers now, if I'm not mistaken. And they're calling their Flavors of Philly campaign. So you got the Korean barbecue from Mike's Barbecue, John's Roast Pork, and the Karopel. I'll let you pronounce it, Mike, but the tomato pie.
I might not say it because I got roasted so bad for, like, mispronouncing. First off, there's too many letters in there for them to say how their name is. Like, that's just the way it is.
What, Corpelese?
Corpelese, but if you look at it, it's like Corro. You know what I mean? So you look at it, like, to me, in my mind, which is a Delco mind, and it's a beautiful thing. But like I'm reading that like how I'm supposed to be reading it, or at least I thought. And dude, like people were trolling me. They were like, how can you not read that? But I mean, like they're like, you don't know what this is. I'm like, I've seen tomato pies all the time, but I don't look at like the name. Like you'd go into Acme and you'd see these all the time, but I never thought to read and see the name of the actual company on there.
Yeah, exactly. Like I got roasted for it too. So I'm glad that you brought that up because I got my ass chewed out pretty bad.
I thought it was hilarious. Everyone goes, "Thank God you bring in one person who actually knew how to pronounce it right."
Can you pronounce it correctly for us, Tom? The Italian stallion.
What, Corpolese?
Thank you, Corpolese. There you go. But Mike, you tried all three huh?
I was gonna say, when I heard you say Karopolis on the TikTok, man, I lost it.
Oh, can you say it too? Are you able to say it? See, I'm horrible at it.
I mean, I've never even heard of it. I thought it would be Karopolis as well, but the way that you responded to other people being like, "What?" I thought
I'm
it was
dyslexic. What do you want? Like, you know what I mean? Make fun of the dyslexic kid, then I like shame people for it. But Mike, how were you feeling about all three flavors? Like, did you rank them? I know we tried all three. Like, did you have a favorite? Did you have like anything to say?
So I like this year's version a little bit better just because it was actually more Philly inspired more than last year, which it was like the long hots and sharp probe, which are like my favorite chips of all time. And then I think it was like Whiz Wit, which they weren't good. And then the 215, like the Philly special sauce or something. But I like to see this year that they did actual spots in the city and based it off of them. Actually, I think Corpolese, they might, or Corpolese or whatever it is, they might not be in the Philly. They might not be in the city, if I'm not mistaken.
They're a Monco company.
Okay, yeah. But I didn't rank them, but I wouldn't eat these chips with like a sandwich. You know what I mean? And like the tomato pie were my favorite at the time, but I was over my buddies for like we were just like drinking or whatever, having a good time a couple weeks ago, and I was eating the roast pork ones by themselves, and dude, like they're like really good. Like as a chip by itself, no dip, nothing on it. They're actually a really good chip.
There's something you can eat alone, and I agree with the roast pork, but like you're so right about what you said with you're not going to eat you're not going to go to Primo's and get a hoagie and then pair these up with it. You're going to go to salt and vinegar or freaking sour cream and onion.
Yeah, like your typical, like your OG chips. Like I wouldn't get these with like an Italian. You know what I mean? Like they just don't go together.
I'm jealous.
And the Mike's one, that one was actually like really bad.
You didn't like it?
No, dude, I hated it. I really didn't like it. That was my
1 to 10. What did you rate it?
I forget what I gave it. I think I gave it a higher score than I wanted to, just because like I like that they do this every year. I can't remember what I gave it, but like after having like a couple more, I said, dude, I don't know, maybe like a 2, might be like a 2 out of 10. It was bad. But I don't want to bash Mike's Barbecue though. I don't want to do that.
No, I hear that. Yeah,
like,
you don't ever want to bash the business.
Yeah, I mean, and I looked on their Instagram, and their stuff, their like actual like barbecue, like looks amazing.
I'm jealous, man. We don't have hers up in New York. Hers is like the best chip, like over Lay's or anything like that. Oh, nothing better than a good old hers chip. And then like you go do like the hers tour, you get fresh chips.
Oh yeah,
man.
Love it.
Like they're like a little warm too. Like oh god, it's like you can just tell they're fresh chips, man.
I will say the tomato pie one's kind of ass. Not gonna lie, I tried them, and to me, they tasted like those ketchup chips. You know what I'm talking about? They're also from hers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I I had a few of them, and I like threw them out because I'm like, these are disgusting. These are gross. I did have the spicy ones, I think, at the office.
The Korean barbecue.
Yeah, and I like those a lot. It had a nice little kick to it. It was a nice little sweet going in, and it had a nice little kick swallowing it. So
it had a honey aftertaste too. I don't know if you had that too. It reminded me, if you guys, I don't know, Mike, if you or Matt or Tom, if you guys have had those hers Cheetos with the honey on them. They're like the big Cheeto puffs. They're so good. I'll have to send you a picture of them.
Are they hers?
Hers makes them. I know that they do. They have some because I was shocked by it, but
yes,
it's
It
basically
looks
a Cheeto puff.
graffiti on the bag.
It does look like graffiti on the bag. He's right.
Yeah,
and I tried them a couple of times, and I never picked them up before. But when I tried them, they're like a nice sweet heat with a honey aftertaste. I really like them. These kind of reminded me a little bit of that. A little bit weird. And I hear what Jack was saying about the tomato pie. To me, the tomato pie tasted like a French fry doused in ketchup. The John's roast pork was nailed. Like Mike nailed the explanation of it, and they nailed the flavor. Like when you taste that chip, the first thing you taste is pork. You're like, oh my god, that's pork. Like, and then you get to taste all the subtle stuff that comes after with it, all the seasoning. But I think that they perfected that chip, and I guess that the thing that sucks is to be a finalist. I guess your business gets money. They don't keep the chip around at all because did they keep the one around from last year, or am I mistaken?
It's like
that would be cool if the flavor stayed.
It's a one-done thing. It's a one-done thing, which I like that more than keeping the chip because it's like a special edition, which I like.
What if I won it in 10 years, though? What if I won it in 5 years?
Sorry, you got to try it when it was out. That's
all. They had ones a few summers ago when I was working at Acme, and it was a Hers chip. It was like the waffle lace or like horseshoe lace type chip, and it also had it was garlic parm. It was like garlic parmesan and chip. Oh my god, it was so good.
Who made that?
Hers. It was like a
really
done summer thing. It was like probably like 3 or 4 years ago they did it.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm kind of mad that I missed out on that. Yeah, kettle cooked. Oh my god, kettle cooked garlic Parmesan limited edition chips. Wow. And lattice cut, like kind of like a Chick-fil-A French fry, it looks like, but like skinnier. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Those were my favorite chip of all time that they ever did. That was limited edition.
It says I can get it on Instacart right now. You think it's expired?
Probably.
Probably. I haven't seen them in stores in forever.
I want to try to order it now. It sounds heavenly if I can get it.
That
would be cool if the factory had like limited edition chips. What would you guys think of that? Like if they just had like certain flavors, but you had to go to the factory to get it.
I'm down. I've never had any of these flavors that you guys have talked about. They all sound great. Send them up to New York, send me a care package of all the Hers chips, man.
So I don't know. I know Mike's in Delco and Tom is in Delco too, like Glen Mills. Where are you at in Delco exactly, Mike? Like what town?
So I don't really dive into where like I live.
That's all good. No worries.
If you watch where like I used to go live every Sunday on my way to the Mont to watch the birds. So like you can kind of piece it together if you say it. But I never say like there's two things. I never say where I actually work, and I never say where I grew up. Well, I say where I grew up, but not where I live now. But
that's
it's still
fair.
Delco. It's still I'm still in Delco. I'll never leave.
Yeah.
So Delaware, we're right by is it West Grove or Avondale where it is technically the potato chip factory, Tom?
I forget.
I think it's Avondale technically, but anyway, we're like
Oxford. It's technically Oxford.
Oxford.
Yeah.
It is Oxford.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're like technically 10 minutes away from it. So I know Jack and I, one cool thing is in Delaware where we're at, like we go every year. They do Christmas lights. So shout out to Hers for that. They deck out the whole factory and you can drive your car through, like take family, friends. Now it's just a drive through. They do have a little area where you can get out, but it's nothing crazy. But it's really cool to just see the potato chip factory and they have all these big ass, thick ass trees and they just deck them out in lights. And it's cool that, as a local business, they got a million fish to fry. They are a nationwide potato chip company. And they still take time out of their day to do that for the community completely for free. You don't have to pay to go in. So I love that. But yeah, that's all we got as far as potato chips. I do want to thank our guest, Mike, for jumping on with us. Mike, you can tell everybody where they can find you on TikTok too, one more time.
Yeah, you can find me. Just put in my last name or mnell18. It also changed. I don't know what happened, but if you type in like mnelling19, it'll pop up, or mnell18. It'll pop up.
Perfect. And thanks for jumping on with us. And thanks for all the food reviews. And I love seeing you wash it down with the stateside, man. I've been enjoying watching that.
They're legit. The black cherry statesides are like my go-to drink right now. A little expensive, but it's worth it for that. I mean, I'm a big White Claw guy, but
what about the Surfsides? Do you like the Surfsides?
I do. They're good, and they're the same company. So I'll drink both of them. But dude, last time I was at down at the bank, it was like $16 for a Surfside. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Holy shit.
I like the Dogfish Head vodka sodas. They have some really good mixed. They have good mixed drinks in the cans. Yep, exactly.
I'll have to look after that. So I'm like gluten free. I'm allergic to wheat and like wheat and flour. So that's why I'm on seltzers now. So any decent seltzer I can get, I'll definitely review and stuff like that. Like the Sea Isles. The Sea Isles are really good too.
Yes, sir. All right, Mike. Appreciate you coming on tonight.
All right, fellas. Thanks, guys. See you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Take care. Make sure to follow him on TikTok if you guys don't, like he said, at MNL19, a good friend of ours, and hopefully get him to come back during the season as we do more food reviews and Eagle stuff too. Like I said, all Delco content, and you got to drop a follow to him on TikTok.
Content.
He should run for mayor. Seriously, he would win. But I want to do.
There's this guy. That's the running joke in Delco. So there's a guy. If you listen to 93.3 WMMR, there's a guy on the morning show called Casey Boy, and he loves Delco. Won't shut up about Delco. Oh, so it's like one of those respect things. Like everyone in Delco said, if there's ever like an unofficial mayor or somebody were to ever become mayor, it's got to be Casey Boy from 93.3.
I don't know. In my opinion, Mike may have him beat. That was pretty legit, Delco. I do want to talk about this for a quick second. We don't have to harp too long on it, but the Madden ratings are out for the players. I don't know if this is true. Someone told me that the QB ratings aren't out, but the rest of these ratings are accurate. If Jalen Hurts is at an 87 to start this game, that is the biggest snub in the world. A guy that just competed with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl back-to-back, played super duper well, and made a name for himself. You have ranked at an 87. That's a B. That's just disrespectful. Hassan Reddick, a guy that was in the top 5 candidates, I would say, for Defensive Player of the Year, you have ranked at a 90. That's a snub. Devontae Smith, 87. Okay, whatever. He could be an 88, 89. I'm fine with that. But A.J. Brown at a 91. I want to just point out that Terry McLaurin was also at a 91. A.J. Brown and Terry McLaurin are not on the same level. Maybe when A.J. Brown first got here, after this season, A.J. Brown has really demonstrated that he can take that step up. That's not Terry McLaurin's fault, but it's situational. And last but not least, Dallas Goedert at an 89. Whatever. Overall, though, I mean, these ratings are not looking good, not looking accurate. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts?
I can't imagine a world after a quarterback had a season like he did last year, like Jalen Hurts, and being ranked in 87. He was one of the better deep ball passers in the NFL. He's one of the best rushers in the NFL. He was one of the most accurate passers in the NFL. I mean, I can't believe that he's coming in at an 87. I just don't know what the Madden raters were looking at. You know, it doesn't make sense to me. Devontae Smith, 87. I can see, this is his third year. It makes sense. Hassan Reddick needs to be higher. I mean, he was a beast last year. Jason Kelce being rated a 92 or something like that. He's got to be higher. He's the best center in the NFL. He's the most athletic center in the NFL. Lane Johnson, though, he was ranked a 98, and I think he well deserves that 98.
Yeah, our best player, I believe. And it was interesting to see Kelce at a 92. They had a lot of centers ranked above Kelce, which I didn't really agree with. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's Madden. I mean, you kind of come to expect it with this game. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely Jalen Hurts was snubbed. He should be at least a 92 overall or even higher. I can see AJ Brown should be like I think a 95 would be acceptable for him, and I think Devontae Smith should be at a 90. I think I'm curious to see the other receivers in the game what they're ranked. But like you said, like this team just came off losing the Super Bowl, and they should be ranked a lot higher than they are. So I don't know what these Raiders were thinking, but they definitely messed up. So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say else about that topic. More of just a slap in the face by EA.
I mean, I will destroy anyone with that team, no matter what. Play me in Madden. I will destroy me online. All
right, buddy. We'll see about that. Tommy knows how that one goes for you usually when you and I play.
So I don't want to hear you.
All right, buddy. We'll have to do that for 302 Birds sometime. A nice live stream of you and me playing Madden. That'd be fun.
Down for that.
What are you guys thinking about this? A little bit of a weird topic, honestly. Northwestern football team under some serious fire. But long story short, a former player filing a lawsuit anonymously was a player of the Northwestern football team from 2018 to 2022 and claims to have been subjected to sexually hazing and physical abuse. Some of the stuff that was said, like they were putting on purge masks and putting these guys in showers and doing very odd things to them. Just not a lot of good looks on the Northwestern football team. And moreover, their head coach is under some serious fire because there is allegations that the head coach apparently was aware of a lot of this stuff and encouraged it. I'm just saying, if you're putting on a purge mask to do anything, it's fucked up in general. So, like, I don't know how this went on for this long is something I wanted to say. But, I mean, also, when you're at that high of a team at that level, I don't know the threats that could have been made. There's a lot that's going to come out about this. And this could be its own 30 for 30. But breaking news, I mean, this stuff is kind of crazy, just some of these allegations. Did anyone else hear about it?
I mean, I played rugby, and it was a lot worse than that. So I get it. Maybe he was upset about something that he maybe didn't get to start or whatever and decided to – I don't know the background stories. But no matter what, it is part of my friends fucked up what had happened. But at the same time, it happens in all these schools. It just goes underreported. So
that's true. Like, where is it happening that you're not hearing about?
Right.
I think what we're going to see with this allegation coming out is there's going to be a huge uproar of people reporting hazing within D1 sports. I do believe, like you were just saying, Jack, I feel like all these teams there's hazing going on.
Yeah.
And it's not reported because people join these teams knowing that there's hazing. And this person probably had no idea, and he joined the team, and now he was probably like, oh, okay, first of all, why stay on the team for 4 years?
Yeah.
I think one thing that I want to point out, though, the difference is the hazing is interesting. Like, it happens everywhere. We all know that. Mm-hmm. The sexualized hazing is the thing that is, like, kind of odd to me because that's, like, I get basic hazing. Like, that's, like, rookies. Like, you even seen in the NFL, pick up the check, do things like that. The sexualized hazing is the part that I'm really like, what is going on at Northwestern? Like, what are they doing that's like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's odd.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder what they mean by sexualized hazing. Is that like doing a naked lap around a house? Is that
so? Actually, what happened was apparently the allegation. I mean, I won't put it on our TikTok, but YouTube, Facebook, everything else were fine. The allegation was that a player would get pushed in the shower and all the other players would have on a purge mask. And this is the allegation. And then the player was dry humped repeatedly by the other players.
That's so weird.
Isn't that weird as hell?
That's really odd. Like
that's the weirdest thing ever. And if the head coach is aware of it and encouraging it, like this player is saying, it's even, like I said, anytime that a purge mask is coming out in general, shit's fucked up. It's a power trip. Something weird is going on.
Huh. That's really odd. I didn't know. That's a lot. I mean, like, that's just like, that's a little too far. I mean, like, naked lap's one thing, that's whatever, but getting dry humped in the shower, I don't know, man. That's a little out of my zone.
Very, very odd. It's not a good look for Northwestern football or their program, and I think a lot is going to come out. But like Jack said too, like I don't think this is happening a lot, like or you would hear about it. But I bet, unfortunately, it's probably happening in more programs. And I do think the good news is it'll kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Encourage other people to speak up, hopefully.
And the thing is, like Matt said, if it was that traumatic to this individual, then why did he wait 4 years to say something about
well, that was the one thing I did say in the beginning, too. I agree with that. But at the same time, you got to keep in mind, like, we don't know the context. You know what I mean? We don't know the threats that are made at a D1 school. You know, like the shit that we could not even be aware of could be crazy. Like, this could be a Netflix documentary in 10 years that we could all be like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. But on to a lighter note, Dougie P giving some praise to Jalen Hurts recently. He basically said it's no surprise that Jalen Hurts is having success. What are you thinking about it, Jack?
I mean, it's always Dougie P has a special spot in my heart. And to see him talking about our current quarterback says that this coach had a lot of potential or saw a lot of potential in this player and just hopes for the best. And it kind of it's nice to get some recognition for a player that used to coach. It's you no longer coach, and to see what he's doing and recognize that for sure. So, Dougie P, you're a man. You're the dog.
I love the fact that he is no longer a coach on the Eagles, and you can still see and hear in his voice how much he loves this organization. I'm happy that it didn't end on bad terms. Clearly, he has faith in Jalen Hurts and the rest of our offense and defense. I'm just like I'm really thankful because that showed how good of a coach he was. I mean, he won a Super Bowl for us, and we gave up on him 3 years later. So I mean, it's always going to be. I mean, I think Nick Sirianni is amazing. I think he's what we need for our team. But I'm happy that we ended good things on. With Doug Pederson, and he's still going on Philadelphia podcast to talk about the Birds, and he's the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, that's just
there's got to be something against that, right? Like, doesn't that feel like 10 years ago that wouldn't have happened, right?
Yeah. Well, and he doesn't. He wish he was still the head coach in Philly, but he saw what was happening. He didn't want to be a puppet, so he said, "Screw you guys, I'm getting out." Like, he was smart to do that. I mean. I don't think they do that to Sirianni.
I don't think Sirianni take. I think if they try,
maybe his first year and then see what happened. But I mean, he didn't want to leave Philly, and you can clearly still see it that he's still coming on these Philly podcasts talking good about the current players. Like he didn't want to leave, but he was smart about why he decided to leave. It was on his terms why he left, which I respect the shit out of.
It's kind of like Charlie Manuel in some sense. You remember when Charlie Manuel I think he was let go, but he understood that we needed to move on from him. Like his time was done as head coach. He's still a huge part in that organization. He's developing players. He's always on the field in spring training. I think he's in the front office now. So he took no hard blood to it. And I do think that, when Doug Pederson's done being the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, he may try to find a spot within the Eagles organization. Who knows? I see a lot of similarities between that situation and what happened with Charlie Manuel.
I think that's a fair comparison too. And it's funny, like you guys said, to just see there's definitely got to be something where he can't come back and speak. I mean, he wishes that he was still here.
One last thing, the whole CJGJ, him talking shit about the Eagles, now you see Dougie P doing the complete opposite. It's kind of it makes me laugh because you're just mad you're not here, bro. Like, we get it.
Yeah, Doug Pederson. So I think you're right, like the way you said that. I think the real reason Doug Pederson does it is he knows after the Jaguars, he's going to come back and his legacy is in Philadelphia. Yeah. And he's doing these podcasts right now, these interviews, planting those seeds so that when he has retirement, number one, he can still have income. But number two, he can still be relevant. You know what I mean? Like he still can be in the NFL world. Maybe he's not a coach anymore, but maybe he comes in as a consultant. There's so many other avenues for him to still be around football. And I think it was smart for him to do it. And it's smart for him to give praise. And I mean, I honestly was kind of shocked that the Jaguars organization wasn't upset by it. Because if I was the owner of an organization and my coach is going to go praise another team in their city on another podcast about how great they are, it would just kind of rub me the wrong way is the way I would put it. I wouldn't be upset. It just doesn't feel like a head coach-esque thing to do. Like, I don't know. It was kind of a shocker for me. When I saw that John Clark got him, I was like, wow, he did that? Like, it's not like Urban Meyer grinding on a girl in a bar when he's a married man, but it's kind of, not smart. And maybe that's Jaguar coach-esque. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to remember Doug Pederson is literally cemented into Eagles history with the statue that's outside of the link. So, like, if he had bad blood with the Eagles, like, that would be kind of sad because that statue is not going anywhere.
And you saw the interaction against last year, the Jaguars game. All the Eagles players came up to him, like, dapped him up, had a conversation. Like, they respect the shit out of Doug Pederson. And he respects the shit out of the Eagles players. So just like that kind of relationship they had. So that's all I got.
It was just something I think that was for the best too. Like you guys said, like it was just kind of time and it is what it is. And now moving on to our last and final topic. This is actually something Jack wanted us to bring up last week. So we're doing it as a special topic for him. But I love the topic idea. Your Mount Rushmore of NFL tight ends. So, like, who would be your greatest top 4 tight ends? I put up a general 4 on here, but I'll let Jack take it first. I mean, who's your Mount Rushmore?
Damn. So, definitely Tony Gonzalez. He was, kind of the later years of his career was when we were growing up watching football. But I still remember watching some games with him in it. I will say Gronkowski, even though he's a Patriots player and Buccaneers, he's still one of the greatest tight ends to play the game. And then if we're talking about current tight ends, I'm thinking about Travis Kelce, and then I'm going with, last but not least, I'm going to go with Zach Ertz. Those are my top 4 for Mount Rushmore tight ends in the league.
Tom, Matt?
Go ahead, Tom.
Tony Gonzalez, Dallas Clark, Rob Gronkowski, and I need a 4th, don't I?
That is what the bid is. Yeah.
I know. Jimmy Graham, I'm going to go.
Wow.
I love the Dallas Clark answer. That's a really underrated pick. I like that a lot. Matt?
You guys are going to hate me right here, but one of them is Jason Witten.
Oh my
That
God.
was mastercraft. I think Travis Kelce has to go up there. I do think Travis Kelce is going to go down as one of the best tight ends in NFL history. Seeing the offense, at least one of the best offensive tight ends in NFL history. The numbers that he puts up year in, year out, I don't care if it's Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. I mean, it's still just mind-blowing what he's doing every year. And then, of course, Tony Gonzalez. And then you got to go Rob Gronkowski. I mean, he was dominant. When he was on the Patriots, there's no other question. He was dominant. So those are my 4 right there.
I like that answer a lot. I think if I had to go with my 4, it's Tony G, Antonio Gates, Rob Gronk, and honestly Travis Kelce. If I'm being unbiased. Now, if I'm giving you my as a fan, it's probably Tony as an NFL fan, and with my bias as an Eagles fan, it's probably Tony Gonzalez, Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz. I think he does deserve an honorable mention, at least for that season that he had with the. I mean, that was one of the greatest tight end seasons of all time. It's funny to see how much Gronkowski perseveres and stays up there through it all. And I really think Mike Ditka and Ozzie Newsome are 2 older guys that kind of go underrated. Dave Casper is another name that comes up. The list goes on and on. But, to really pick 4, you got to kind of look at the impact that the players have had off the field. And I think the nice thing about Travis Kelce, Tony Gonzalez, Rob Gronkowski is these guys are people too. their personalities. So that's why all three of them up there, some kind of a broadcaster podcast, they talk to the fans, they interact. And I think that there's something to be said for that. Even Shannon Sharp does too. I just think that, the way that they do it is very different. Mike Ditka, notorious with the cigar, a personality. But I think Gronk, hands down for me, is probably the GOAT tight end. And it's funny because he was such a partier coming in the league. I don't think anybody knew what this kid was going to do and how he was going to change the game.
Who, Travis Kelce?
Travis Kelce did change the game, but I mean more Gronk. Like when Gronk really revolutionized the tight end position, I think, to be more of a receiver than a blocker. And, it was happening before Antonio Gates, don't even get me started, Tony Gonzalez. They set the pathway for Gronk. But I think Gronk just did it at Gronk was so physical. And Travis Kelce kind of plays with that same physicality. But Travis Kelce is just the ultimate receiver. He is the ultimate receiving tight end. The catches, his route running, he's insane.
When Gronk had that freaking robotic arm dude on, he could not be stopped. He was stiff arming everyone. I think that robotic arm was so unfair. Who wears a brace, man? God, what do you have? Tommy John's or something like that?
He had some kind of surgery. Yeah,
it was with his forearm.
Yeah, but that brace made it so he couldn't bend that arm, so he could just stiff arm anyone. Yeah. It was not fair.
Jeremy Shockey had one or two good seasons. Colin, calm yourself.
Hey, it's not a bad answer. He wasn't a bad tight end. But I mean that's all we got for you guys tonight on the show. I don't think we got anything else. I know we were kind of here for a long time, a little bit longer of a show than we normally do. But thank you for everybody who tuned in with us. Appreciate y'all. I don't got anything else, Jack. I'll kick it to you to do what you do. Other than that.
Yeah, I mean, he's not on.
And happy birthday, yeah.
I was going to say, he's not on the show tonight. Obviously, it's his birthday. So I want to wish a happy birthday to Pepe Lazeppi. He's the big 2-4. Big 2-4. So it's nice to see he's over 23. He's now in our friend group, everyone's age. But anyway, without further ado, Zep, it's an outro, not an intro. Hit that outro. Yeah.